What is up, guys? It's Brillymeister here, and welcome to episode 3 of my AFK Money Making series. If you'd like to check out any of the other episodes, I will leave a link in the description and on screen, and please don't forget to subscribe so you can see any future episodes that I make of this series. So without further ado, this is my Abyssal Demon AFK Money Making guide, and let's get into the guide. So the good thing about this method is it offers a great compromise between getting high experience rates an hour and also a good amount of profit. It's very high melee experience and it works just as well with range or mage. However, for this guide I have chosen to focus on melee. So the straight up drops, I got about 5.5 mil average per hour in drops, whilst using 130 springs average for the spring cleaner and about 80 ghostly essence, which equates to about 800 kills in worth for restoring my prayer. So if you take that out, you get about 3.5 to 4.5 mil an hour profit. Also along this, with using the enhanced ectoplasmator, then you can also get 60 to 70k prayer XP an hour, which is another amazing benefit, as it's basically profitable prayer XP and it adds to the overall XP per hour for this method. So overall, very good AFK method for getting a lot of XP whilst making a decent amount of profit also. So for the requirements for this method, there are a couple of pretty steep requirements for low level players. 92 prayer, 100 dungeoneering and a recommended 96 herblore are some of the higher ones. Most players I imagine will have 85 slayer now to be able to kill abyssal demons. The 92 prayer is required for using soul split, which basically helps you sustain yourself permanently here. 100 dungeoneering is used to access the resource dungeon. However, you can kill them at the top of the slayer tower and you don't require the dungeoneering to get there then. However, that spot is a lot more crowded and you'll find it a lot harder to find a world permanently. When I was doing this, testing it, I never really struggled to find a world. I'd only have to hop once or twice at most. 96 herblore is just recommended for overloads. Same with most methods, overloads do speed stuff up and they make it a lot more AFK because you can just click on it at the same time as you click your aggression potion. So on for the recommended gear setup. So you can do this with either melee, range or mage. The only difference between the combat styles and the gear setup that you see here is you'll just swap all of the melee items like the Noxious Scythe and the armour out for the range or mage equivalents, and you can do this method just as efficiently with any combat style. What I personally use is tier 70 plus power armour. You don't need a massive amount of defense here, so you can just use the stuff that's going to give you the most damage and the most DPS so you can up your kill speed per hour. The Demon Horn necklace is crucial for this method. You can buy it from Dungeoneering shop. It doesn't cost a massive amount of tokens and it works really well in combination with the attuned ectoplasmator, and it allows you to basically have unlimited prayer as long as you have charges in your ectoplasmator, so you can constantly use turmoil and soul split or whatever curses you decide to use. You want to have a rune pouch with alch runes in. That just allows you to alch anything that doesn't come as a noted drop or isn't broken down by your spring cleaner. It's not a lot of drops, but there will be the occasional thing that you need to alch. Luck of the Dwarves, I use this pretty much everywhere. It does give you a little bit more chance to access the rare drop table and will just slightly increase your GP per hour over time. For the weapon, I use a Noxious Scythe. However, a Dragon Rider Lance or Crystal Halberd or any sort of T80 plus 2H weapon with a bit of range to it is just as good, as it allows you to use lots of AoE abilities and get them all down once they're in range view. Cinderbane gloves are always the best here as they're poisonable and it will just improve your kill speed and make your kills per hour more. The aura is not really important, it doesn't make much difference particularly, so you can use whatever you really want to use. Berserker aura will increase your kill speed the most, but you can use reverence if you really want, or anything to be honest. What I need to say about perks is that you can use the Demon Slayer perk and that will give you another 7% DPS against them as they count as demons. The Scavenging perk is also really good if you're going to be here for a long period of time, as you can get some really nice components over time from it. It all depends on your luck. And if you're going to be using range or mage, then the Caroling perk for using chain is brilliant, as it allows you to hit 2 more and just increases your kill speed again. So for the inventory setup, what you really want to take is Holy Overloads or your Supreme or Extreme Potions if that's what you're going to be using instead. Aggression Flasks, as this is the crucial part of this, which makes them all aggro onto you and you can completely AFK it. Spring Cleaner charged with springs, you use about 130 an hour here, and that'll break down a vast majority of the drops that are worthwhile. You'll only have to out the occasional thing like a whip drop or something like that. Everything else is stackable in your inventory, so I'd recommend taking some of the stack of the stackable items so that you can just have them nice and tidy in your inventory. You want the Dungeoneering Cape if that is your chosen way to get there, as it allows you to teleport straight to the dungeon. And you want to take an Enhanced Excalibur, as that's good for emergency healing. If you don't have an Enhanced Excalibur, just take one Shark or a Rocktail or something, as you may need it in an emergency, but I haven't ever had to use it in the time I've been testing, but it's just nice to have it as you don't really need that extra inventory space anyway. How to get there? There are two easy ways of how to get there. So the easiest one that's most accessible to everybody is to home teleport to the Canifis Lodestone, and then you want to run west to the Slayer Dungeon entrance. There you can either do them in the Slayer Dungeon or you can go up to the top of the Slayer Tower and kill them there. I prefer to do them in the dungeon as it's a little bit less crowded. My personal way of getting there, it's a little bit easier, is you can teleport there with a right click option on the Dungeoneering Cape, and you can teleport just outside the dungeon. Once you get to the dungeon, there are two spots inside for Abyssal Demons. There is the east spot and the west spot. I personally prefer the west spot, as I found I got about 70 to 100k XP an hour more here, which obviously means your kill speed's higher and you'll get more GP an hour as well. However, the spot on the east is good as a backup spot. However, I would personally hop and try and find a spot on the west. So as you can now see in the background, I've got some footage of me doing the actual method here, and you can see just how easy and AFK it is. What you want to do is set yourself up in the middle of the room on the west, or the room on the east if that's the room you're choosing, and make sure you have your big hitting AoE abilities at the beginning of your action bar, such as Meteor Strike, Hurricane, and the basic ability Cleave. This will allow you to AFK with Revolution++ and deal the most damage consistently. You can get XP rates of up to 700k an hour in strength here and about 900k an hour overall in combat. And as you can see by how little I'm having to click, it really is very AFK. You can do this whilst playing on another account. This is great if you have an alt account and you can just do this in the background. And it's also very good if you're going to try and hit those 200 mils in combat stats, as you can do it for long periods of time whilst watching TV or a movie in the background, and it's relatively low effort and it's quite nice and profitable. That's one of the best things about this method, is just how okay it is. We only have to click every couple of minutes to area loot if you want, and even if you only want to drink purely your overload and your aggression flask, you get a lot of the money from your spring cleaner anyway, so you'll still make decent GP an hour with literally one click every 5 minutes, and you can sustain yourself constantly with soul split. And as long as you're using soul split, you won't have any hit point issues at all. It's also really good because it does make more GP per hour than some other methods that you can AFK. The only downside to this method is occasionally during peak hours you may struggle to find a world, as it's quite a popular method due to the good GP and the good XP per hour. So for anyone that's made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching my guide on AFK money making with Abyssal Demons. I hope that you've all enjoyed the video and found it informative to help you do this better in the future. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and a like, as it really does help the channel grow. And I will leave a link in the description and on screen to my channel and to the rest of the AFK money making playlist. Thank you very much for watching. See ya.